What is up, you guys? Marty McFly coming at you, bringing you guys the merch. So I just wanted to talk about the newest vinyl pressing, the only vinyl pressing of Deprivation by In Dying Arms. If you're not familiar, In Dying Arms, originally from Baltimore, Maryland, they were basically in that MySpace deathcore era, which unfortunately got such a bad name, but a lot of really talented bands came out of that scene. Now, there's obviously a lot of controversy around some of the bands, some of the band members regarding the entire MySpace deathcore era, and there's certainly a lot of hate to be passed around. However, I've had the opportunity to meet these guys a couple times, and they've all been just super nice lads. They've never really caused any issues, and you know what? This was the band that made me realize that there could be melodic deathcore, and not a lot of bands were doing this. If it was deathcore, it had to have Brie and O and all the things and blech and all the good stuff, but not a lot of bands were doing the melodic stuff. And I would say for the majority of those bands, especially if you're into the Despised Icon, Suicide Silence, All Shall Perish did a little bit of melodic stuff, but Despised Icon, Suicide Silence, Carnifex, a lot of those guys were really not pulling out any cleans, that's for darn sure. And this was the first band that I listened to out of the deathcore era that really brought pure, cleans into the band, and a lot of guitar work, a lot of beautiful melodies that you could hear being influencing bands today. And that's what got me hooked on them, was the album. Basically, they're self-titled, and when you go into listen to the Despised Icon and Suicide Silence, this was the band that really brought a lot of witchy vocals, as well as mid-range, low, gutturals, brie, and blech, and all that stuff. This one brought the high-pitched witchy vocals and just absolutely terrified me, terrified everybody in the library, and I needed to hear more. And when I heard them live for the first time, they played at Transitions Art Gallery, this tiny little skate park, no air-conditioned club in Tampa, Florida, and what an unreal show. I mean, we were all sweating to death, and Orion Stevens, their lead singer, did everything live. Every range of vocal you could imagine, he did it live. So really an incredible band, and this is their first album, their first full-length. First time ever released on vinyl from Crestfallen Records. Gotta get handed those guys. This was expensive than what most people would probably pay for a first edition vinyl, especially for a press that was being repressed 15 years later, or pressed for the first time 15 years later. I wanted the CD, but at the same time I was like, I gotta have the vinyl. I almost bought both, but this took a year to come in. So I ordered this a year ago, and they kept having delays at the factories with the records, the plastic, everything. So I'm glad to finally have it in my hands. I almost gave up. I emailed the guy twice to talk about it, and he said, look, man, it's coming. Everything is out of our hands. It's not that we're holding on to it. We're not screwing you over. Now we're taking your money. It's literally in the factory. There's just delays in the pressing. So I was like, you know what? I'll hang out because I really wanted this. Totally worth the wait. So like I said, it's melodic deathcore. This is really their least melodic of their albums. There's a couple tracks with some a little bit of mild, very minimal cleans. But some great lead guitar work and just some great breakdowns and gutturals. Now, I love how they do this, especially with Crestfallen Records. They even give you a wonderful thank you card. It's got your name on it. They even got a little autograph from Brian. I really love how they think of the customer and do stuff like this. What a treat. And that's the best word I can really explain, is this is just a big treat for me. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous vinyl with the black and the green swirl. And actually, this is the first time I've really sat down and just stared at my vinyl while it was being spun. And this is actually could put you into a trance. It's just fun to watch it go, basically like that the whole time. Of course, we have the Custom Center, talking about the songs and all of their lyrics. And then the band itself, of course, you got Orion Stevens on there. I had an opportunity to meet these guys a couple times. Once in Tampa. The other time was in Erie, Pennsylvania. I was actually doing grad school up there, and Erie's an interesting town. I wouldn't recommend it to everybody, but the people in Erie treated me well, so I can't complain too much, and it got me an opportunity to meet these guys. Now, what was interesting about meeting them was their bus broke down, and I still remember being on, it had to be Facebook, because I wasn't even into Insta yet, and it wasn't MySpace, so it was definitely Facebook when Facebook was still going about, and they had just released their last full-length record, and that was the one where they added Christian Becker to it. Phenomenal album. They got some great moments on there. If you haven't, I would check out all of their discography, but I would say the last final record, Christian's not exactly a great singer. He's very stepwise. He doesn't have a lot of freedom like Orion did. Because if you listen to the first couple albums with Orion doing cleans, like he's got an amazing range. He can sing so many great melodies. Christian's a lot more limited, but he's a phenomenal guitar player. Just unbelievable guitar player, and I really think that's where our very last album stands out. So anyway, I had an opportunity to meet these guys in Erie, Pennsylvania. They posted on Facebook, said, "Hey, our bus broke down and we're stuck freezing in Erie, Pennsylvania. If anybody is in town and wants to give us a couple bucks to help get our thing repaired, or if you just want to come hang out with us, we're at the McDonald's." And I said, "Which McDonald's?" So I actually messaged them. I was like, "Yo, which McDonald's you at? I'll buy you a burger or something, or whatever. I mean, you guys don't have any money, so at least come hang out, maybe buy the new record off." He's like, "Yo, we're at the McDonald's here, so come get it." So sure enough, they were there, and I was like, "Yo, you guys are in Dying Arms." He's like, "Yeah, man, what's going on?" And we hung out for 30 minutes. I basically bought their newest album, asked if they could sign it. Just rad dudes. They took a picture with me, which I hold that picture very dear because it got me through a rough patch in grad school. Grad school was kicking my tail. Just trying my best to get into the top half of the class, and the courses are brutal. Famously low scoring courses, especially for anything biomed related. So it did a lot for me, and it was right before finals started. So I was like, "Oh my gosh, how much time am I going to waste?" But I took a break, and that was my study break. It was basically to go hang out with In Dying Arms. So I'm so glad I got to do it. This is a rad OBI strip too, 18 out of 50. So getting to meet those guys, they were super nice to me, and I was so grateful to get an opportunity to meet them. And they signed the newest record for me, which was their last record, basically. Orion Stevens brought the project back to do an EP, which is great, but that was their last full, hard, LP. Now, the album itself, this is quintessential MySpace era deathcore with a little bit more melody to it, but some great chug-a-chug, some great breakdowns, some really great witchy vocals and gutturals. Not a lot of Brie, but a little touch of it. Now, I would say if you're going to pick a song, if you want something just like nasty, go to Obsolete, Blemish, or Sloppy Seconds. Just like nasty gutturals with breakdowns and just like get your anger out. If you want something that's a little bit more melodic, it's not really like a vocal song. So I would go to What Should Have Been a Past, because the emphasis was not on the vocals here. The emphasis was on the guitar work. And the last 2 or 3 minutes of the song have just this incredible guitar line, which made me immediately interested in this band when I heard this for the first time. And of course, going into the self-titled album. But when What Should Have Been a Past came on, and I finally heard the guitar line, I said, I need to get more into this band. So of course, that's where that comes in. It's a great record for a band's first attempt at the deathcore era. Now, I mean, if we're gonna talk about bands that like probably could have influenced these guys, if you look at like Dead Water Drowning, what those guys were doing, these guys are clearly influenced by the similar bands coming out of like Carnifex, Suicide Silence, All Shall Perish. A little bit of influences from like the Rise Records, hardcore, metalcore. I hate to say metalcore in this sense, but there's a little bit of metalcore influences like pre-Killswitch Engage. Like if you look at what Adam Duckowitz was doing, or the guys or Brian Fair was doing, what those guys were doing, there's a little bit of Converge-esque like influences on this band as well. And I think a lot of that plays into creating a phenomenal album. So if you like anything from the early deathcore, if you like a little bit of like early screamo violence or early like hardcore stuff, if you like what Acacia Strain was doing very early on, I think you'll love this. If you like anything that's got the witchier vocals from deathcore albums, I think you'll love it. If you like the guys in Victims, I think you'll really enjoy these guys as well. So definitely recommend checking out So Glad I Have It. Great band, great bunch of dudes, and great tunes. So that's it from me. Short video today, but I hope you guys are doing well. You guys are taking care of each other, and peace.